struck on the library side.
on the library side, but
Yes.
not the girls. So,
And then we have to have a
okay,
cover.
and I know there's another an answer to some of your
To answer,
questions.
the bottom gates are not supposed to be locked. I have a feeling it's probably the project manager when he leaves, locking it, so I will address that with him. And actually tomorrow morning, winterization of the pool again.
You were just too quick. Okay, thanks for the questions. Okay, we'll move on to bills and payroll, Ms. Wertz.
Thank you. Madam President, Administrative Services, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
Planning and Zoning, Mr. B.
In order.
Public Safety, Mr. B.
This is
In order.
Public Works, Mr. Lar.
in order.
Recreation, Ms. Book.
In order.
Library, Mr. Sobrowski.
That is in order.
Storm Sewer Fund, Mr. Lar.
In order.
Sanitary Sewer Fund, Mr. Lar.
That is in order as well.
2022 Construction Fund, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
Capital Projects Fund, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
And Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
It asks for a motion to approve bills on the bill list dated September 20th, 2023 from the general fund totaling $245,239.06. From the storm sewer fund totaling $8,731.00. From the sanitary sewer fund totaling $13,625.35. From the capital projects fund totaling $8,907.00. And from the local fiscal recovery fund totaling $5,385.00.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We also ask for a motion to approve checks and transfers to be ratified from the general fund totaling $56,958.12. From the payroll fund totaling $53,815.82. For a grand total ratification in the amount of $110,773.94.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
We also ask for a motion to approve payroll for a pay date of September 8th, 2023 in the amount of $174,453.56.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And there is an overtime list attached.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to approval of the minutes of the September 6th meeting.
I move that the minutes of September 6th be accepted as is.
Second. I have a question before we move on. On page 4, Stone,
Where?
I don't, there's a paragraph on there, something Mr. Sobolewski said. Is that correct? I didn't understand it when I read it. He suggested reducing the scope of the project to include replacing the steps to Spring Valley and installation of playground equipment. This would eliminate renovations of the bathhouse and pavilion.
Yeah, you're correct, Kathy. I wanted that included. I wanted those 3 items specifically included in everything else.
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley's not part of it. The steps, it's the wrong road. It's the Spring Valley Road, the deteriorating steps is what I was getting at.
You're talking about
Orchard Hill Road.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So, yeah,
Are you
Orchard Hill Road installation, playground equipment, and the renovations of the bathhouse and pavilion. I want all 3 of those and rebid, so just all 3 of those are included. And then I would like the remainder to be used for either this upcoming Felix Drive, sanitary sewer project, or expand the scope of next year's pavement program.
I just wondered about that one.
I
Okay, there was a motion and a second and an amendment. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? I forgot to go to that. Approve the amended minutes. We'll move on to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. First item I have is the animal control report for August. Police received 60 animal complaints for the month of August. 35 complaints were referred to South Hills Animal Control, which represents a 5.12% system usage rate, and that's a good rate for Whitehall. With regard to deer, there were 9 deer that have been removed in the month of August, and 61 is the total for the, for the year. Notes, September 16th, 2023 was the first day of archery season in Allegheny County, and that includes the borough's deer management program. Volunteer archers selected by Suburban Wildlife Management Solutions are permitted to be in approved county locations on the following dates. And that would be September 16th through November 24th of 2023, and then December 26th, 2023 through January 27th, 2024. That's the archery season, as I mentioned, in the state of Pennsylvania. Volunteer archers have undergone comprehensive background investigations, passed required proficiency testing, and are properly licensed and authorized for this activity. And I understand that there are some archers who didn't make it, that their Suburban Wildlife is very serious about making sure that archers in our woods are very good archers. So just know that we're going to do our best to reduce the deer population. And as I've said before, I haven't checked the statistics this year, but we have the worst deer problem in South Hills community when you look at the number of deer that are taken out per square mile in our borough. Next up, over the summer, the police department worked with Mother Mercy Academy to develop a new traffic pattern during dismissal to limit daily traffic backups. This required adjusting afternoon gym periods and uniformed police officers directing traffic during the first 2 weeks of school. The chief reports the new plan is working, and he would like to thank Principal Militer for his time and cooperation. Next up, Chief Gregoric, Sergeant Budd, Dispatcher Schwartzmeyer, and Dispatcher Morgan attended the CODI. Chief, what does that stand for, CODI?
That's our record management system.
Connect conference in Hershey on September 11th through the 14th. Chief is pleased to announce that the Whitehall Police Department was selected as one of 10 agencies to field test the newest version of their records management software. CODI provides services to over 800 law enforcement agencies across the country. Moving along, I've received 2 block party requests. One has been approved already and the other will be approved. The first one is for September 23rd for Carlin Drive. They've had this block party before. It's between Del Rio and Snyder, and that's approved. And then the other is Ranger, Merrifield, in the Merrifield plan. Ranger and I think it's Ranger Drive is where they're going to block off. So they block it off at Augusta, and then I think Augusta swings around. So it'll be blocked off at Augusta on both sides. So 2 block parties. It's great that we are. The residents still want to have block parties. Oh, I did approve one for Dolores Drive for October 28th. So it's 3 block parties that will occur in Whitehall Borough. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, any questions on there? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to our solicitor, Mr. Berman.
Thank you. Excuse me, I do not have a report tonight, but I would ask for an executive session to discuss items of ongoing litigation and personnel matters.
Okay, thank you. Will we adjourn before that meeting?
We will adjourn.
Okay. Our engineer, Mr. Westmazel?
Thank you, Madam President. I do have just a couple items this evening. First of which is item 4 on page 2 of our September 15th report. It is the Overlook Park. We currently have bids that we have. Those bids will still be valid through October the 8th. So you have one more meeting to take action on that if you so desire. Do you have any questions regarding the bids and the ad alternates?
I do personally feel that we may as well make the decision now, because the longer we wait, the longer it's gonna take to get Overlook Park open.
Oh,
I agree.
I'm gonna make the motion that we accept the bid that the engineer suggests and, our, Director of Planning and Zoning, and, we can get started, so that's a motion.
Mr. Lar, are you referring to the base bids only?
Well, yeah, whoever else uses the park. I'm just, the baseball people and who else?
Is this
You're looking at it.
the base bid, the
I
base
believe you
bid?
should all have this summary before you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we
If you don't, I can make copies, but are you referring to the first line down there, just for clarification? Not doing any of the ad alternates?
Can I just give a little
Okay, just wanna
explanation on
clarify.
that? So, just as a reminder of what's included in the base bid, it's the trail, it's the walk, the steps to Orchard, it's the preparation for the playground equipment, parking lot, utilities, stormwater management, concession stand and restroom building. The way that the base bid is, there will be no cover, as you have now for seating, so it would be open. Ad alternate number 1 is for the additional roof extension, and as well as a concrete patio for covered seating. Option 2 is for a poured-in-place rubber surface in the playground in lieu of the engineered wood chip fiber mix. And then ad alternate number 4 would be for pavilions. One would be a pavilion located close to the existing pavilion, between the existing concession stand that's there now currently and the baseball field. Alternate number 4 is for pavilion at the upper level near the playground.
What would keep us comparable to, what we've done in Orchard Heights Park? And would it require that first alternate to put the roof on? Because we have a roof on the park in Orchard Park, right?
For Frank
Orchard
Park,
Heights,
Mr. Mayor?
Frank Park, yeah.
We put in a new pavilion entirely over there. Are you referring to that, or the existing bathhouse at Frank does have a extension
Yeah, I
over
think we
it
put the
where
whole
there's a picnic
new
table?
pavilion. I was, in hearing you talk about the base bid, Scott, it sounded like there wasn't gonna be a roof on that. Is that-
Well, there'll be a roof obviously over the concession and the restroom. There just wouldn't be a roof for any picnic tables or any cover for picnic tables.
And that would come in alternate 2.
How much was that?
Alternate 1.
Alternate 1, okay, so what would be the cost of alternate 1
With a roof
in
over
the
it?
base bid?
Man, do you have?
I'm not sure.
I think it might
Maybe
answer,
I
I
do
think
like
it may
the
answer your
variable.
question.
Alright.
That's, I think you're referring to.
1.7.
1.764.
I have a question about alternate 2. If I'm reading this correctly, the difference between wood fiber surfacing under the playground equipment and a rubberized surfacing that would be poured is $17,000.
In this
The difference
situation, it's
between-
cheaper.
Wait, say that again. What's cheaper?
There's a deduct, so they would deduct the wood fiber, then you would add in the 60 grand for the rubberized
Right, so
surface.
there's really, to get the rubberized surface would be only 17,000, would be 17,000 more.
So let me double check.
Okay. Because here it says that the for the audience, the wood fiber surface would be 44,000.
Yes.
And the poured rubber would be 60,000. So we're looking at, is it worth 16,000 to go with poured rubber rather than, okay, does anyone have any questions about alternate 3 and 5? Or alternate 4?
And well, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman, alternate 5 and 6 is just for the plumbing. There would be a water line extended to each pavilion with a hose bib. So there would be a plumbing component as well. That's what your 5 and 6 alternate are.
They're tied to 3 and 4.
Yes, exactly.
So you only get 5 and 6 if you're adopting 3 and 4.
No,
Is that right?
you get,
If you're adopting, you have to
you
do
do
5.
5,
Okay.
and if you do 4, you
You
have
have
to
to
do
do
6.
6 together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Kathy, what do you want to have out?
So I do alternate 2 without alternate.
Correct.
You can't.
You can't.
Well, even though all the bids are, a lot higher than we had originally estimated when we did this plan 5 years ago, my suggestion would go with the base bid, and I would add alternate 2, doing the rubber surfacing under the playground rather than the wood chips.
Right.
I agree with that.
Understood.
You're 165 somewhere right there.
1612 205.
Yeah.
No, that-
Over
is
to the
that-
right.
I'm sorry, Scott, that's if you do
Base bid and alternate 2.
not alternate 1.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, what is it that I made a,
Right here.
oh, where
Yes.
is it?
Oh, okay, I thought you were asking.
No, I asked, what is the whole package? Can you repeat it, Mr. Scott? Just say it so I can.
1,380,000.
The $1,612,205.
That's all the things that we
With
decided.
alternate 2, with alternate.
No,
That's
just
just
with
alternate.
base and alternate 2.
With the base and alternate 2,
That's
it's
it.
1,161.
1.6.
I like this.
Yeah.
I think the cover would make sense.
Oh, no, you have to.
But that's up to you. That's your decision.
What'd you say, Scott?
You said the cover with the additional place for seating. I think
Yeah,
it'd be more
yeah.
comparable to what you have now, what you're accustomed to.
It starts
So
to rain and the
which
kids
bid
are up
is
there.
that?
What's the
Which-
difference?
Is that
It's alternate
alternate
1.
1?
Yes.
I make a
Just to-
motion again, since the other one didn't go, that we go with, what is it? Tell me.
We're discussing base
Sorry.
number 2.
Base and number 2 is what's being discussed.
Right, I know that.
If you would so desire to add the additional roof and concrete patio. it
Okay,
would
that's
be-
my motion.
That would be all base bid plus alternate 1 and alternate 2.
That's the motion.
So what's that total? I mean, it's way over what we're talking about.
It's like $600,000 over budget for everybody that's.
Maybe Kathy, you could just to do a little history here for those in the audience. I think would be helpful. So the Whitehall Borough, Kathy was the leader in this, put together a 5-year parks plan. And we started by looking at each park and what the parks needed. And so the first place that we thought we needed to improve was Prospect Park. And so we did some improvements over there. And then we completely redid Frank Field. I refer to it as Orchard Heights Park. I think that's what it is on the plan. It's a beautiful park. It's used. It's not a park where
There's baseball. or
where you have any
Family park.
organized sports. And then, as was discussed earlier, we did some work in Union Park. Right now, the worst park in the borough is Overlook. The stairs are unsafe. The shelter needs to be rebuilt, and it needs playground equipment. And that shelter was there when I was a kid, so it shows you how long ago it was.
Mayor, all I made was a motion, but.
All right, well, I just think this will be helpful.
what for?
So, I'm
I
letting,
think
letting,
it's here, Jim. Keep going.
okay. So the other thing you need to know is there are a lot of kids that surround this park. So I did a check. I called the school district to find out how many kids there are. Because I know when I was growing up, there were 100 kids between on Greenridge Drive between Fieldcrest and St. Gabriel School, there were 100 kids. So right now, what I'm told by the school district, they keep track of numbers up till grade 5. There are 28 from K to 2, 46 from 3 to 5, and 17 from Mother of Mercy Academy. So that's 91 kids there. And then, if you, although they don't keep numbers, I was told a good estimate is about 15, a conservative estimate from 6 to 8. So from 6 to 8, that would be add up 45 more. And then I would, when we were kids, we played up until high school, go down to the courts. And so, that would add another 45 or 60. So you're looking at, close to 190 kids surrounding this. But we have to emphasize that this is a park for everyone. So all of our parks are for everyone in the borough. It's not just a neighborhood park. But in terms of where are the kids to use this park, by the way, these numbers I'm giving you are from Hamilton to Grove Road, so in that part of the square, and from Baptist to High Grove, okay, in that square. So that's right around the park. So we're looking at, close to 190 kids. This is a very expensive project because you can't get into it. You can't, from Fieldcrest, you can't bring trucks up, and over on Spring Valley, there are, there isn't any way to get up. They're going to have to construct something. This is why it's so expensive. And so knowing that this is going to be a very expensive project, it was wise to use the ARP funds that we received. It reminds me of what happens in the school district, which is that every 20 years, the school district gets a lot of money from the state of Pennsylvania to do projects that they wouldn't be able to do without this additional money. So that's why you have the Performing Arts Center at Baldwin High School, you had a new pool, you have a new basketball. It was all because this money was given to the school district to do exactly what they did with it. And so think of this federal money as, this is our opportunity. This is our time. It makes perfect sense to use that money for this particular project. The bids came in high the first time and they were thrown out. It was rebid and they're high again, not as high as before, but they're still high. But despite that, and I think there's some attempt to reduce the scope of the project. So I believe we don't really have an alternative here. If we don't do this now, when will we do it? If we want this park to be comparable to the other parks of the borough, why should 190 kids suffer because we can't get equipment up there? It shouldn't be that way. And it will never be fixed. I guarantee you, James, if you've come up here to speak on behalf of all, it will never get fixed if we don't do it now and bring it up to what Whitehall Borough is used to and has in the other parks.
Well, Jimmy, excuse me, if you let us, we're vote.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm actually done.
I'm not gonna vote for accepting number 2. I will vote for number 2, not number 1. Because if I understand correctly, what that would be, Scott, would be as it is now, where we have the shelter house that's mostly holding equipment, and then there's a porch on top with a roof.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah, this would still be a one story with just a roof line extended, right, or more or less an attached pavilion. If you will.
It's more like a concession stand, is that?
Concession restroom.
the reason I say that is, first of all, we're well over budget on this already. So instead of 1.612, if you put that additional roof on, you'd be up to 1.76.
Right. So I guess
Here's what happens now. When people have an event, they bring these pop-ups. Everybody has them. They're cheap as dirt. You can buy a huge one. You can buy one that you can put a truck in for $99 at Harbor Freight. They're huge. And if somebody's worried about shade or cover on a rainy day, then they'll bring their own pop-ups and put that up. That would take the place of that roof that we really can't afford anyway. I think the thing is to get this done, because even though, you're right, Mayor, we have this money, that money's not covering all this cost by far.
Okay.
So
No,
this has got, a lot of money's gonna have to come out of the general fund for this.
Right.
So that's why I say, keep it the base bid, because we know what we have to do. And then go with, alternate two, and that's more of a safety thing. Having the rubber, I think is just more accommodating, because if you're talking about kids, you want them, I'd rather have them fall into rubber than chips, so that kind of thing. That's why, the only one that I'm gonna vote for is alternate number two. So, I'm not gonna vote for your motion, Phil, if it includes, number one. So if you wanna change that, or if you wanna have the vote, fine, but that's where I'm at.
Well, I agree. I mean, the base
We're already
bid
over
with number two, with the rubberized, and that's it, 1.612. Like Glenn said and the mayor, we don't have enough money now to pay for it, but you know, it's only gonna get more expensive. And it may not ever get done if we don't do it today.
To
And I think we need to
do
do
the
it.
job, it has to be done.
It's not, I don't
We've
think
been
the
able to
question
pay
here is
for
whether
everything
we're
and still
gonna do
have
it,
money
it's which one we're
reserved.
gonna do.
I don't,
Well, let's clarify then, what is your motion exactly, Mr. Which,
motion,
what are you including?
I included the roof
The base bid,
and the, yes,
you're including the base bid alternate one, which is the roof,
and alternate
and
two.
alternate two.
Instead of going halfway into this project and maybe say, well, all it is a little over budget. Most of that money is
So it's
coming
not a
from the
little
government.
over. It's not a little over.
Yeah. It's coming,
It's $1.6 million.
I understand that,
I don't
I
think,
understand that.
all right.
All right, so your
Okay,
motion
there's
is,
a
Make
motion,
your
is there a second to Phil's motion?
What's this?
I asked if there was a second to your motion. And
I thought I
hear-
heard him say what Glenn said. Did
I
you say
hear no
what?
no, he
No,
was
I didn't.
including
No.
alternate one.
Can I
So
make
we
a
didn't get
motion?
a second?
Yes,
No.
there is no second to Phil's
All right,
motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we accept the base bid as well as alternate number two, which is the rubber mulch.
Second.
If we, and just because you're gonna wanna break these out for, so it's there. So if that's the motion, Mr. Russmazer, that's awarding,
That's awarding contract one, general construction to Caliber Contracting, with a base bid price of $1,321,026.00. Contract two,
wait, with alternate two, what does that do to, this is with alternate two, what does that do to the amount of?
another CC cost. Well, there's a deduct, hold on.
That's just, okay. Let's make sure I got the numbers right.
Well, what I would do, Mr. Berman, is say with that alternate number two, Caliber Contracting, it would be an add alternate of $60,519.
So that's the one, and then the other ones are,
Contract number two, electrical construction, Handlin Electric, with a base bid price of $93,900. Contract three, the pumping construction to First American, with a total base bid price of $159,000. Contract number four, mechanical construction, the lower base bid was Controlled Climate, with a base bid of $21,700. So the total prices, or the total bids for contracts 1 through 4, plus the add alternate number 2, will have a total of $1,612,205.00.
that's in your motion, that's what that motion is.
Yep.
Putting those four towards those contracts.
There was a second to that motion, yes.
Can I make a motion too, or is it too
Wait,
late? to
No,
take
you
second?
can't, we gotta vote on this one.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I am strongly opposed. I would like it to just be rebid with Orchard Hill steps. The new playground equipment installed, which we already built or bought, and renovate the bathhouse and pavilion. I'd just like that rebid before we go $500,000 over budget.
Well, we made a motion, and the motion is
You
accepted.
get a second here.
Does anybody want to second that? And 190 kids won't be suffering like the mayor said because they'll have brand new playground equipment, a new bathroom and pavilion and new steps. So I don't know why everybody wants to go so far over budget with this. I mean, it's not, nobody's holding us hostage to spend this much money. on
How much
budget.
money did we get in it? A million three?
The motion has passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and your comments can be noted for the minutes. I think that's.
Yeah, if I can just address that, Tony. This is what we're dealing with tonight. We're dealing with the parks, okay? We know there's a strong sentiment in the borough to renovate, put money into the parks. That's what we're dealing with. We have a significant amount of money towards that end that was given to us from this other money. Unfortunately, it took a long time for us to get notification that we could use it for this. And as that time went on, prices increased. We can't afford to rebid this again, not only because the costs will go up, but the engineering costs will be included in that. We have funds and other means that will be addressed to handle sewer lines, issues like that, just like we've always done for the last 50, 60, whatever years. So, but I think tonight we're concentrating on the park. That's why.
To rebuttal that, actually, we have until December 2024, so there's actually not a huge time constraint. Yeah.
No, it has to be spent, so it means the project has to be completed by then.
And
if
if
the
we
more
go
we- every
over
time we
budget, we
bid-
won't waste money because we could just use it in our road pavement program for next year.
But we don't
Road
need it
maintenance,
in our
that gets
road
done in
paving
spring.
program.
And we have a separate.
We cut that back, you know?
You're entitled to your opinion.
I just think it's absurd, but mine's a strong no, everybody else is yes, that's fine.
Okay. We'll then move on to Mr. Russmeisel with the Felix Drive Storm Sewer Project.
Just one thing under item 7, under the pollution reduction plan, just to make council aware that Crump Incorporated, they did complete the Sawmill Run portion of the project. They are currently working on the Streets Run portion of the project, and it appears they anticipate constructing the new pedestrian bridge there next week.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
For the Sawmill Run Stream Restoration Project, they will be constructing the pedestrian bridge there next week.
Could you also turn?
Sure.
You don't have to repeat it, I don't think, but I can see some questioning faces. It's difficult to hear you because you're facing a wall.
Under Felix Drive, we have completed survey field work there to make improvements to the existing storm sewer system. We prepared an estimate to determine if it met the bidding threshold, and it does. It exceeds the $25,000 bid threshold, so it will have to be publicly bid. We are looking at a project of a cost of $45,000 for the improvements needed there. So the recommended motion is to advertise for bids for the Felix Drive storm sewer project.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of moving forward, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We can move forward on that.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We move on then to our managers.
Thank you, Madam President. Is there a representative from Pennsylvania American Water here? Okay, they said they were sending someone, but the first item of my report is in regards to the Act 537 presentation that they gave at last month's council meeting. They did send over a draft resolution, which you do have before you. They were supposed to send a representative to answer any follow-up questions. At this time, they're asking the council adopt the resolution.
Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
I would need a motion to read it in its entirety first.
So moved.
No, I thought we agreed not to do this last time.
What, this is the resolution.
Oh, wait a minute.
Read it.
Go to that. Adopt Act 537 resolution, Brentwood Borough.
Yeah, so we don't have to wind up paying for it.
Yeah, I thought we said no last time.
And we said no.
Okay, so why is it on our agenda?
At the last meeting in August, there was a presentation, there was no resolution before council. This is the resolution that they have sent over.
So we say no
Needs
here.
to- This is where the decision needs to be
We
made.
say no here to stay.
So
Oh, okay,
we're
we see.
rejecting American, the bid, we're, what their offer is.
Yes.
The motion before you tonight is to adopt the resolution, that is supporting the Act 537 plan of Brentwood Borough
I'd like to make
in
a motion.
regards to
John.
their sale of their sanitary sewer system.
Right, so it has nothing to do with
That's
Whitehall
nothing to do
Borough.
with
So
us.
he made Pennsylvania American Water
That needs support.
made a
Yes.
presentation asking for Whitehall's support. Mr. Nagy raised the issue of, is this gonna raise our rates in Whitehall? And in the course of discussion, we learned that they set the rates based upon their costs all over the state of Pennsylvania. And I believe there was a communication from Pennsylvania American Water that said that there's zero chance that, what's happening, your support of Brentwood wanting to sell their system would have any effect on rates in Whitehall. And so this is the motion to support the, if there's another issue other than the one Councilman Nagy raised and was answered, then, bring it up. But if his objection was answered, Brentwood wants to move forward with their project, we want to be good neighbors unless there's a good reason why.
Well, I don't care
We
about
should
paying
not.
my neighbor, I don't wanna
I
have to have
agree,
us
when
pay
we talked
for
about
Brentwood.
that, and we're, yeah, but it's got nothing to do with, just because we do have certain areas of the sewer attached with Brentwood. And that was my concern, like Councilman Nagy mentioned, we all talked about, that's all this is saying, yeah, you told us. We recognize that you're doing this, as long as we're not responsible in any way in our residence. So that was clarified. We got that memo that you had sent,
Correct, that I have the email.
that
if
we
you'd like
have
me to
no
read it.
responsibility or, in this regard, except saying, yeah, you told us.
So the answer to Mr. Nagy's question from PA American Water, this was sent on Monday. The Pennsylvania law allows the Public Utility Commission to allocate a portion of wastewater revenue requirement to the company's combined water and wastewater customer base. For the Brentwood acquisition, the company's calculations prepared for and provided with the PUC filing indicate a 0% impact on PA American Water's water rates. Accordingly, the company anticipates that the rates for PA American Water customers in Whitehall Borough will not be affected by the Brentwood acquisition.
And what I made a motion right now was for Courtney to read it.
But that's a 0% impact on water rates. What about is there gonna be any, did they give us a 0% impact on, our sanitary sewer? Would affect our prices of anything else?
The borough maintains our own sanitary sewer system, so council sets the rates for that annually. So no, PA
So
American Water
anything that they
would.
do won't affect us in any way, shape, or form, even the last time they came, they said it would.
I'm sorry, that's
I don't
a
think
very
I-
broad question, I don't know how to answer.
So us saying yes to this will not affect Whitehall residents in any way, shape, or form monetarily.
And the big sewer system over in Brentwood, over in Baldwin, we wind up paying $1 million plus every year for 3% usage.
Well, let's think about it this way, maybe
Let me
this
just
will, maybe
clarify
this will
what
help.
the
Go
motion
ahead,
for
you-
you, for the resolution, what PA American Water is asking for adoption with this resolution, if you read it, it comes down to, this is part of Brentwood's application to the DEP and to the PUC. So this resolution, as it states at the end, Whitehall is adopting and submitting to the DEP its approval of Brentwood Borough's Act 537 sewer plan. That's what the resolution is
With
speaking
Brentwood Borough
to.
being underlined, essentially,
Yes,
not way.
correct.
Yeah, it's just a necessity because we share common, we don't share, but our lines run into their lines, that's basically.
And
what
Right,
vice versa.
but-
Yes.
I think the
They're
cost
connected.
will come down to two entities.
Plus, it'd be a good experiment to see how it works out. in
Right,
Brentwood.
exactly. Well, you got borough residents, and that's already been answered. And then you have us, and we have control over our own costs. So I can't imagine anything else, coming up, but, so hopefully you'll.
So if they do a project on Brentwood's sanitary sewer, okay? And PA American Water is doing it, correct? Because they're gonna be the ones buying it. Can they or can they not disperse it through everybody's bill, PA American Water?
Sure.
Okay, so
That was what was answered in the email.
They're saying
The answer is
that
no.
that it's a
Well,
0%
you believe 'em.
impact.
I
Well,
don't.
no, here's what they're saying, okay? They're saying, we combine all the costs across the whole state of Pennsylvania. Where, there's millions of
You
people
can tell me
across
there's something,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, but you can tell me something that's green and it's really green, but it's really purple.
Phil, at some
Point
point,
here
I
is
can
that-
believe some people
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's, the
don't
question is,
that don't vote for it.
I'm not voting for it. I don't trust it. I remember the deal we had to do with,
I think we vetted it pretty well. Do you guys agree? I think we
Yes.
vetted it pretty well.
what?
So I believe there's a motion to read the resolution. I
To
don't know if
read.
there was a second.
Yes, I made the motion to read. Was there a second?
I think.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Please read the motion.
I'd ask for opposed on that, Kevin.
Opposed, yes.
So,
So one opposed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm opposed.
So there's two opposed on reading the motion.
Just read it.
So it went 4-2 to read the motion.
Yes, okay, thank you.
A resolution of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, whereas Section 5 of the Act of January 24th, 1966, known as the Pennsylvania Sewage Facilities Act as amended, and the rules and regulations of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection adopted thereunder, Chapter 71 of Title 25 of the Pennsylvania Code, require Whitehall Borough to adopt an official sewage facilities plan providing for the sewage services adequate to prevent contamination to the waters of the Commonwealth and/or environmental health hazards from sewage waste, and to revise said plan whenever it is necessary to determine whether the proposed method of sewage disposal conforms to a comprehensive program of pollution control and water quality management. And whereas Pennsylvania American Water Company has proposed to purchase the assets of the Brentwood Borough Sanitary Sewer System, and whereas the Pennsylvania American Water Company has prepared a Special Act 537 study to document its plan for ownership and operation of the system, whereas the Whitehall Borough Sanitary Sewer System and the Brentwood Borough Sanitary Sewer Systems are interconnected at different points within the system, whereas Whitehall Borough has reviewed the Special Act 537 study dated July 10th, 2023, and concurs with its findings. Now therefore be it resolved that the Whitehall Borough Council hereby adopts and submits to DEP its approval of this Special Act 537 study of the Borough of Brentwood, which is hereto attached.
I'll move that resolution number,
1025.
roll call please.
There needs to be a motion in a second.
Oh, okay. Oh, I hear a
I'll
motion.
make the motion.
And I'll second it.
A roll call please.
Ms. Book?
Yes.
Mrs. Depew?
Yes.
Mr. Lar?
No.
Mr. Nagy?
Yes.
Mr. Soborowski?
No, I think it has the potential to negatively impact what others do.
I know, so
Mr. D?
My answer is yes.
Motion carries. The next item of my report is in regards to the Historical Society donation agreement. Mr. Firman's firm prepared that today. It should be on your desk. This would accept the furniture donation from the Whitehall Borough Historical Society that we spoke about at the last meeting. So I'd ask that council authorize the proper borough officials to sign the agreement.
I'm a,
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'm looking to
Kathy,
see
it
if there's an
addresses-
answer to my
Kathy, it
question.
addresses your concern. Basically what it
Okay,
says
thank
is,
you.
they donated, but once it's here, it's ours. We can light it on fire if you want to, right? I'm just kidding.
Well,
But, it's.
well, that was my concern.
But really, you could do what, you're not taking any responsibility for it. They don't get it back. Now, they're also putting on, inserting, they're also, sorry, I thought your solicitor's not supposed to do that. But they're also putting on loan two other cabinets, which, are theirs, and we'd have to return to them if we ever use it. But as far as the big credenza, that's ours to do with what we please, and if it was damaged or whatever, that would not have any liability.
That's what I was concerned about. Do I hear a motion to authorize?
I thought it.
You got a motion in
Okay,
a second.
second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item in my report is in regards to the credit card payment terminals. As we're preparing to set up the credit card payments, or to accept credit card payments, the terminal supplier has presented a cost to purchase the terminals upfront versus a 4-year lease. So Ms. Gus and I were actually able to negotiate an additional $600 off the purchase price, which would bring the cost to purchase to $2,109. For comparison, a 4-year lease would be about $5,600.
So the outright purchase would also reduce our fixed annual maintenance costs significantly from about $2,300 to $700. So, I mean, over a 4-year lease, all costs included, would cost about $15,000. Purchasing outright with a reduced annual fee would only come to $5,619. So we're looking at savings over 4 years of just under $10,000. So in order to lock in these significant savings, I would recommend that council authorize purchase of these credit card terminals in the amount of $2,109, which would come from the general fund.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll just ask a question if I could. So typically when you lease something, sometimes that includes some maintenance. If something goes wrong with the terminals, they maintain it. Is that the case if we purchase it? Or who would be responsible for calling the computer geek in if there's a problem?
So the terminals themselves are just that, it's just the swipe. There's the online component of it that is separate, and that's actually because the vendor that we were working with partners with Westbanco on the back, so it's really a banking maintenance issue, not a hardware issue.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up on my report, Hannah and myself have been working with a resident that lives next to Frank Park. They are having an issue with permit holders placing decorative items on the park entrance sign. The sign itself sits, if you're familiar, if you're looking at the entrance into Frank Park, it's specifically the property on the left-hand side there, sits on that slope. So permit holders are walking onto this property owner's yard, which is their first concern. The second concern is that they're also leaving their signs, their balloons. So we've been politely reminding permit holders, not to do that. It is not really working. So what Hannah and myself have come up with is that we feel that a financial penalty for not being respectful of that neighboring property may change the permit holder's behavior. So we're recommending that council, authorize us to prepare amendments to the rules and regulations, instituting a $100 deposit for Frank Park permit holders only, refundable, assuming that they don't trespass on the property or leave any signs on the entrance sign there.
It's comparable when we get that fee for cleanup, and very similar to that, right, where they got it back.
Yeah, so it is refundable. I mean, we're not saying and increase the permit rental fee or anything like that. This is simply an incentive to clean up. Well, one, to not go onto the park property, the neighboring property itself, but two, to clean up after
I
yourself.
think you're looking at two separate issues here. Who's gonna enforce and prove and demonstrate? I guess you can do it now with cameras about them going on
She
property.
emails me every weekend.
That's a little tricky. As far as moving balloons and whatnot, I guess you could try to force that. But typically, over the years, what's happened is when there was an event at a certain park, that would be the first place the road crew goes the next morning.
They do on Monday.
So
Well, they can clean it up.
The
That's a
problem
big
at
deal.
Frank Park specific is because it's so popular as a party park, it's booked Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
So it's not just one event happening, road crew comes in on Monday morning, first thing.
So somebody might leave their birthday balloons on Friday, and there could be a funeral luncheon on Saturday.
The residents' bigger concern is not so much the cleaning up, that she understands to an extent. They would like to landscape that portion of their property, and their concern is if residents are comfortable walking across their front yard now, they don't wanna waste an investment, if they're gonna continue this type of behavior. So our thought is a potential financial penalty may encourage better behavior from the.
Let's hear what the chief has to say about that.
I'm in support of whatever you
You're on the wrong table. You should be up here with the
That's
politician.
right, he's a true politician.
I don't think $100 is a good deterrent. People be aware.
I'm sorry,
Be
these are
thoughtful
reasonable.
for people not to, leave their
And I,
decorations, balloons, and whatnot, and trespass.
police side of it, it's $300 delivery. That's a state citation.
And I will say, you know, Mrs. Bauer and even Alyssa, when people come to pick up their parts, we do remind them of the rules to be respectful of the neighboring property owners, and it's not sticking. So I thought it's maybe a financial penalty would encourage better behavior.
Especially since they're, trespassing on someone's property.
Well, let's
And
ask.
they start doing that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
That's okay.
Well, no, I was thinking, as kids, did we walk on that property because there may be an easement?
I don't think there's a trespass going on there.
Okay.
That sign's been there for over 30 years, at least, I don't even know.
Yeah,
So there's
We
obviously been a use of that pathway to get there. So
Right.
there's absolutely not a trespass. There's absolutely not anything like this. It's really, I think it's a question
public
of
relations.
good neighbor, for lack of a better word, good neighborism for people to clean up after themselves, and that's where this comes from. But you're correct. Of course, legally, there's no legal trespass. There's no legal violation by the borough or these residents that use the park.
It's a unique situation where the sign sits on the top of the slope, so, you know,
Could we move the sign? Would that help?
it would still be on their property, and I don't know where we would move it to, because I thought about that first, but it's unique because of the way that both properties slope over, or slope up, so.
There's a reason it costs so, I see it's pretty high for a cost. Make it 50.
I mean, we're amenable to a suggestion, Art, you know, if council is something, if this is something you wanna entertain, we'll draft the documents to amend the rules and regulations, we can change the dollar amount.
I think it's $700. I know they're gonna get it back hopefully, but it's still a lot.
About 50,
I'm okay with lower, I'm pretty sure.
just something for them to notice, and twice.
So really, you're only talking about leaving things on the side, because the solicitor's already ruled it's not, it's not a trespass.
It's not a trespass.
So, do it on a temporary basis, see how it works out.
Sure.
Then make it, like, let it sunset, and then, I don't know, just throwing ideas out there.
Just type it up on whatever paper you have. Type it in strong and you there. You have to create it artistically, open them so they understand. And then, well, you can do that. I've done it for 25 years. It's one small thing. But you can do that and then see what happens.
Just try and see what happens, is right.
Staff will prepare amendments and bring that to the next council meeting.
You know what, bring us, I don't have Google Earth on my phone right now. Bring us when you do that, bring us a picture. Because we wanna see
Right.
where that sign is and give us a good visual of what you're talking about in terms of that part of it and where people were.
There it is, ask and you shall receive.
I knew we had a geek here somewhere. So,
Yeah, picture.
can you see what?
I can see it.
But, so yeah, so the signs on private property essentially. So people go up and put their little banner or whatever on the sign. And that's what the people were complaining about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it may be on their private property, but an easement is a use.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm just telling you the phone calls that she gets.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well,
So maybe we should send them a letter and in legalese and say this is why they have access to that. But then where does it end? Like, how, I guess.
I don't
there's
know,
no reason-
I'm just.
Yeah, there's no reason to think they go beyond that sign. Although people with these, plug-in signs, and they might think, okay, if we could put stuff on the borough sign, we could put one of those, thing on spikes or whatever. Hope nobody does the 21, what was the Pelicans or the baby, whatever that stuff is. But you never know, so but that's what we're against.
We pass your, this around, Eric? That's a fine picture, by the way. Why would you have this? Let's Google Maps. Oh, Google
Bill lives in the box.
2023. I didn't want to load Google Maps on my phone just for tonight. All right.
Well, moving on to the next item of my report, in regards to the pension MMOs. So the borough's actuary has prepared the minimum obligation calculations for both the police and non-uniform pension plans. The police MMO for 2024 is like $867,835, and the non-uniform MMO is $170,727. Both of these numbers reflect a decrease in valuations as the amortization bases made post 2008 have expired. So I ask that council authorize these figures for the 2024 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? So moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Courtney, how much lower are those two than last year?
A total savings of $289,000 and change.
So
between the two plans.
$289,000 less in this
this
budget
year,
coming
yes,
up from this year.
correct. And then next on my report, the borough recently underwent audit on the labor's combined funds for the years 2021 to 2023, and a $3,000 surplus was discovered. So that credit will be applied to future invoices for the non-uniform health insurance plan.
Keep it up, we're working towards.
And then last but not least, last Wednesday, another rock went through the police department lobby windows. So the claim has
Really?
been
Why
turned
are they-
into insurance, and we're working to get that fixed.
Oh my
So they
goodness.
revolted.
It actually was on the anniversary of the first one.
A year and a
Yeah.
day, I think they have said.
Yeah.
It's from a lawnmower, they know Yeah. through it.
How did
No,
that
the
happen?
first one was
No
a,
one-
the first one was a lawnmower, the
This
second
one's
was
a
a
weed
weed whacker.
whacker.
So the public works department cuts the grass, we know that.
Okay.
That is all that I have, Madam President.
Okay, any questions? We're gonna move on then to our committee reports, Public Works, Mr. Dar.
They are fine. I was down, they made the deal with the, for the salt. And that's all done and over. Yeah. So we're gonna be salty and nothing. And I don't know about the rock. They're keeping on going and they do a heck of a job cutting the grass, so if you look around, it's always neat.
Yes, they do.
Except for breaking the window in the police department. We're have to get them fixed about that. That's all I have, madam.
Okay, thank you. Public safety, Mr. Lee. You're Mr. Lee, do you have-
Mayor, was there anything on?
No.
Okay,
Sorry,
recreation.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll introduce Hannah back there for a report.
Hello. So on Sunday we had our Touch a Truck event. Despite the rain, we actually had a really great turnout. The Public Works supervisor allowed myself and Alyssa to paint one of our snowplows for Touch a Truck this year to allow the kiddos to sign the plow so that they could go on the first snowplow of the season. So the kids did love that. There were over 35 signatures on the plow. Some people drew pictures, like the littler ones. We had a lot of scribbles, but it was definitely nice, even in the rain. So we do look forward to next year and hopefully have better weather. Tomorrow night is our Snyder design meeting. It's in the community room from 7 to 8:30. This is a very informal meeting, and I should not even call it a meeting because there will be no meeting. It's more that we ask the residents to come, fill out their favorite design concept, provide written feedback. It's just like we did at Overlook Park, where we just want to know what the residents are looking for. So there's not really a meeting. If you still can't show up at 7, but you can make it there by 8:15, we are happy to have you. Your written feedback and everything will be taken into consideration if you were there at 7. So it's not a meeting. It's not from Recreation. It's not from Council. This is just the Parks Committee trying to figure out what the best design concept is for Snyder Park.
You
So-
do have several designs.
We do.
Suggestions.
Yes, so that way residents, there will be a paper, it'll give your, you will be able to provide that written feedback, what you like, dislike, if there's anything that you don't see that you may want to see, as well as voting on the number of, what number concept you like the best. We are hosting a pre-K karate class tomorrow evening as well. That's from 5:30 to 6, so it'll be a little bit of a busy night. But the last time we did the pre-K karate, it sold out. So we're hosting 2 more, and one is tomorrow. Bingo is back, which everybody knows, everyone loves. So we are sold out for our first bingo. Nick Piscatano is sponsoring that luncheon and will be providing homemade ice cream like he does every year, which the bingo players definitely love. Lastly, we're partnering with the Whitehall Public Library for our 75th anniversary Fall Fest celebration, which is September 30th. And it's from 11 to 4. This is the first one, but it keeps getting bigger. Every day we get another vendor that can make it, things like that. So just real quick, 12 to 1 is going to be a kid concert and a dance party. 2 to 4 is going to be a country concert, and then 11 to 4 there'll be vendors, kettle corn, new food trucks that we've never had before, permanent jewelry, different crafting vendors, crafts for the kids, candy, and baked goods, and tons more stuff that we keep getting more and more every day. So we're really excited about that if you can bring your family in. So that's at Brennan Plaza on September 30th. So we're excited about that.
That sounds great.
Any questions? Any
Thank you
questions?
so much, Hannah.
That's what she was just talking about.
Yeah, I know, but this is nice. Okay. This note came to council, concerns recreation. Dear Whitehall Borough Council, welcome report. We wanted really, I'm sorry, the wait was really worth it. What a great new pool. Congratulations on our job, well done. See you next year. Thanks, Paul and Beth's verbal.
Alright.
Yeah.
So it's nice
Your
that
camera?
people want, nice note. Take the time to thank all of us. Okay, any other questions about recreation? Administrative services, Mr. Nagy.
I have no report.
Planning and zoning, Mr. B.
Mr. Gillette?
Yes, we have one motion for this evening's meeting. This involves the application for 2013 SLD 07 Grove Point Phase 2, 6th Amendment, 279 283 Chestnut Drive. The applicant requests approval for a subdivision of Lot 28 of the Grove Point Phase 2 residential land development to establish property lines along party walls as townhouse units under construction. At last week's meeting, the planning commission recommended conditional approval of the application, and their recommendation letter is part of the memorandum dated September 14, 2023. The staff recommendation is the council grants approval of the application subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall address all outstanding issues referenced in the Borough Engineer's review letter dated August 18, 2013 and September 7, 2013 in a manner acceptable to the Borough Engineer. Any additional issues raised by the Borough Engineer shall be resolved to the satisfaction of the Borough Engineer. The Borough Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement review memorandum. The applicant shall address all outstanding issues raised in the Borough Directors of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement memorandum dated September 8, 2023 in a manner acceptable to the Borough Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement Planning Director. Any additional issues raised by the Planning Director shall be resolved to the satisfaction of the Planning Director, and the applicant shall agree to pay all professional fees, review fees of the borough in connection with this application and approval. And that is the staff's recommendation.
So I'll make a motion to approve 2023 SLD-07 Grove Point Phase 2, 6th Amendment Subdivision Plan Application 279/283 Chelsea Drive, subject to the conditions in the Director of Planning and Zoning and Code Enforcement memorandum dated September 14, 2023.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And I got one more thing, actually, it's for did we hear from the residents regarding the drought? Yes. No. Is that what we're gonna talk about?
No,
Okay,
they're satisfied.
what happened?
I gave them a
They had not seen a copy of the easement agreement that gave the HOA the right to have the trails and everything all over that property. And within that document, it has an indemnity clause by the HOA. So when I sent it to them, they had never seen that before, and and she sent me an email today saying that Carol was going to reach out to the HOA to just get a letter confirming what's in the agreement.
Yeah, good job, Art.
Got it? Yes, thank you.
Okay,
It was, just to be clear, all I did was basically send her the document that was a public record. But she did. I understand, you did it, you know what?
Okay, who made the motion?
I did.
And I said,
Linda seconded.
Okay.
we did vote on that.
That already happened.
Library, Mr. Stone?
I have only.
Hello. September is Love Your Library Month. This is our big fundraising month. And to date, our mailing fundraiser, we've received over $15,000. There's a week and a half left in the month, and $15,000 was our goal, so we're going to exceed our goal this year. The library still has basket tickets and tote bags for sale to complete fundraising this month. The Under the Sea After Hours event was very successful, was well attended, and brought in a younger demographic. There were a lot of 30-something people at the library. It was great. And that was really the overarching goal of the event. There were 60 attendees and lots of volunteers from the board and the Friends to help manage the event. The reference librarian, Sarah Scott, was the event leader on this, and it was really great. She did a great job. A huge thanks to the volunteer silk shirt artist, Whitehall resident Mike Budeye, who designed the octopus t-shirts I'm wearing at the moment. And they will be for sale later in the year sometime. The final fundraising event is the Panera Bread Sponsored Day, which is tomorrow. So if you take a flyer, I have them here. Either you can call in, you can do it online, you can go. The library gets 20% from the sales of members who bring their thing to the library. Or you can get it electronically on your phone if you prefer to do that. But if you want flyers, I have them. Oh, it is the Casti Paneras. It's only the Casti Paneras that's participating. And after 3 years, the fireplace is finally repaired in the library. We've been through many a rep over this. And so it's in the reading area. The residents really like it, so it's finally going to be up and running again. Second Chapter Cafe and the Children's Library both have new window treatments. And finally, after a long time, the in-house notary services will begin this month. That is by appointment only with our licensed notary, the aforementioned Sarah Scott. So, yeah, I'm excited.
what'd you say, 5?
I think so, but I can't guarantee. It's not. I think that's the
Is there a fee? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think $6.
but that's- you know-
$6 is the fee, is the going rate.
Yeah, but it's by appointment.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further to report on the parks. Interested in have some ideas on Snyder, tomorrow night's a meeting. Any new business to come before council? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? To executive session. So moved. It's been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Please, council stay. We'll go to executive session.
Thank you all for
Thank you all for coming.
Me too.
Right. Right. Yeah. He was the highest voted Republican, and he said, I don't know, I wouldn't put that guy. Right. Yeah. Okay. See, now I don't know. I swear I've been here since May. Right. And I know John, your body doesn't. I know that for a fact.
could even
I mean,
launch.
it's aggravating that John Porter stayed too over about transparency in this house when I'm like, what do you want? Comforters and a stroller? Lock at your door and explain everything that happened in Right. I know, as soon as I saw the word transparency, I'm like, oh, that was John wanted to do that. Yeah, I would agree. You can't sign something. Somebody said, why, I don't have my, and you know what? My signature, there's no substitute where you can answer it. If you show up as a meeting,
There's a lot going on tomorrow.
right.
Now in October 1. Yeah. But it's not even in the borough. I knew about October 1, but I'm not in I thought it was something that's from Still, they really run that committee.
Right.